Okay, so let's get started. Before I start, any questions from previous sessions? Anyone tried something and didn't work, or any other question related to Power BI? Okay, okay. So last time, what we explored? Yeah, question. Okay, okay. So let's say you create this chart. Okay, first category of chart, right? And then you go to, let's say, x-axis, and then from here you can change the range 1500 to, let's say, you want to see only 4000, right? So that's how you can set up the range, uh, and get started. Okay, 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 okay. uh I don't know if that answer to that question right now, because it is based on, the values or the aggregation numbers. But I'll check if there is a way we can do that using 50, because if you do it 50 or any other, it has to fit the area of the chart. But just to double check, I'll double check on this now, this one, that if we can do it 50-50 wala change. Okay. Okay, so last time we explored how to create a chart. Okay, so Pawan, just for you, go here. Okay, get data, Excel workbook, and then select the file that I've sent you. Okay, and just import the data. Okay, and for now you can just observe what we are doing. If you face any issues, we can connect later to resolve that issue. Okay. So last time what we did, we created this chart, right? And we added the legend, right? We added the small multiples, and we explored how do we create the chart, right? So so that is how we explored last time. And after that, what we did, we went to format. So different nuances when it comes to building chart, like formatting y-axis, formatting x-axis, legend. So let's say if you want to change the fonts of y-axis, if you want to change the color of the fonts, right? If you want to switch the position of axis, all those things, small things, nuances of building chart, changing the range, font values, right? All those sort of things, you can do it in this format option. So every chart that you create has a format your visual option. So these are the types of chart that Power BI provides us. And once you select any of these, you can format the category of the chart, and you can customize it in your own way, like data labels, plot area background, zoom slider, right? So all those sort of things you can do and build or customize your chart in your own way. So that is how we have explored last time. After that, what we did was we looked at three types of visual. Those three types of visuals are visual level filter, page level filter, and report level filter, right? So visual level filter, so this is one visual that I have made. On this specific visual, if I want to apply a filter, I can add a segment over here, and let's say I want to see it only for corporate, and this will change specific to visual level filter. If I want to apply this filter across entire visuals of this page, so if I create 2-3 visuals like this, right? So if I copy this and create this kind of chart, right? And I want to say that I want to apply this filter on this entire page. So I take segment, and then I take consumer, and now this entire page has filters for this segment corporate. Okay. And then the next filter that we saw was filter on all pages. So let's say if we take this subcategory and apply this filter on all pages, so all 4 pages, this filter will get applied, and we'll see data specific to subcategory accessories. So these are the three levels of filters that we saw: page level, report level, and visual level filters. And this is definitely asked in interviews, so make sure you know this. And any questions, if you have tried this or were not able to, uh, let me know. Okay, so I guess we are good. Okay, so another type of filter, which is called a slicer, is also used. So what we, in filters, what we saw so far is filters. There is a filter pane over here, right? So we can expand this filter pane and see data related to that. But what if you want to add something in the in the page itself? So you can use that. You can do that using slicers. So you can take this slicer, okay, and click on this slicer and then add, let's say, region to it. Okay, and then you are sort of giving users some design experience, and you can say, okay, for east, what is my sales or discount, and you can do that. Now once you go to the formatting side of things, you can see that there are options in which you can build this visual. So instead of vertical list, you can say I want to use it as a tile, so this will be coming as a tile. Okay, or drop down. Yes, this is yeah, yes. And if you want to add it to different pages, you can do that, and I'll share that. But yeah, to answer your question, right now this is page level filter. Okay, and uh, we can. I'll go to that part. Yeah. So the next option is single select, right? So you can just keep one option at a time. So if you want to do that, right? So you can set it to single select. If you want to don't do that, you want to keep multiple select on. There is no select all option by default, so you can add that, and then add select all. Okay, so what we are doing so far is we are trying to see what kind of filters we can give users so that they are able to filter data, right? So what we saw: visual level, page level, report level, and another one is slicers. Okay, and then if you go over here, okay, this is not applicable, but let's say if you just say central, and if you want to clear this filter, you can just say clear selections. Okay, this eraser kind of option is available over here. You can say clear this selections and this will be erased. Okay, so so far so good. Any questions or anything? Okay, so in this, if you see, you can also format this visual. Okay, so far what we saw is the first three types of filter were visual level, page level, and report level. So those were present in this filter pane. Okay, and this is something that is over and above that you are adding and or giving to your users, right? And so if you ever get into a situation where you want to increase the performance of your dashboard, right? And when I say increase the performance of your dashboard, I mean to say, like you want to increase the latency. You want to reduce the latency. So latency means whatever I click on, the dashboard should change within 2 seconds, right? But when we are dealing with huge amounts of data, sometimes it takes time to refresh, right? So it's not very important thing, but just remember that this takes more time to process than these kind of filters. Okay, so if you are trying to improve the performance of your dashboard, rather than using slicers, use these filters that you see over here. Okay, just keep that in mind, because it's not very important when you are dealing with small set of data or medium set of data, but if you are dealing with huge set of data, this is something that you can keep in mind. Okay, so the other thing about Power BI is that the visuals are interactive with each other. Okay, now what do I mean by that? So if I click on this office supplies, it only highlights data specific to this part, right? You know what I mean? So if I click on furniture, it only shows me furniture relevant data for central region. Okay, or if I click on this furniture, it only shows me furniture, and office supplies and technology gets grayed out. Okay, so this is the interactive feature of Power BI, and you can always use that. So just like filter is changing these visuals, right? You can also change visuals using charts itself. Okay, so it is always interactive. So now that we are talking about interactions, um, just what Shripad has asked, like if he wants to use a slicer, but if you want to use slicers only for one visual and keep the other visual intact, okay, so there is this option that you can go into, which is click on any visual and then see format, okay, and then get into edit interactions, and then using edit interactions you can say I don't want this visual to change this visual, okay, and you can just say lock. Okay, and now if I change anything over here, only this visual is changing, this won't change. Okay, simultaneously, if you want this visual, clicking on this visual shouldn't change this visual, you can again click on this visual, go to format, go to edit interactions, okay, and you can say none. Okay, and now I click on this, the other chart won't change. But if you want to say I want to filter, not highlight, then you can say filter, and once you select this office supplies, it will only show office supplies. If you show click on furniture, only furniture will say, right? Or you can say highlight, not filter, and then the entire chart remains same, but it only highlights the part which has to be shown, which is relevant in this case. Okay, and similarly you can do that for this chart to this chart as well. So you can say lock, and then you click on this and that doesn't change. Okay, so why don't you guys try this? Okay, create a slicer, create these two kind of charts, and see edit interaction if that works or not. I'll take a couple of minutes, and let's see if anyone has any questions. Yes, question. Okay, I thought there was a question. I can explain this again if this was too fast, but let me know if you're not able to relate or not understand this. Click on the chart, go to format, and then edit interactions. Okay. Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. So you can import data from Excel. You can import data from websites, or even if you have CSV file or Access, or let's say databases like SQL Server, you can use all that to get data. You can use this get data. You click on these more options, okay, and then you can get data from pretty much any data set, like you can see over here. There are so many data sets that it supports. So even if your company uses SharePoint or OneDrive and your Excel is on OneDrive, you can connect to that data source. So pretty much all the data sources that are present in this world, 70 to 80% are there, you can connect. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Try this, and if you're not able to, it's fine, like we can connect later, and I'll just give you basic introduction. but just get data, Excel workbook, and then the data set that I've shared. And then it will show three options. I'll just quickly show you. Get data, okay, this desktop, and then sample superstore, okay. And then you can select orders, people, and returns, okay, and just click on load. So you are able to import the data in your Power BI, okay. Yes, 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 yes. But pivot has very limited options. You can do like hundreds of things in Power BI. But yes, to answer your question, yes. Could you repeat? Like, okay, 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 right. Mm-hmm. Right. So because what's happening is you have applied two types of filters, and you are saying I don't want to see this, and you are also saying I don't want to see this either or this either. So that's why what's happening is it is applying all those four filters, and you are not seeing any data, right? So it, yes, it combines, it does not I won't say it supersedes, it sort of applies filters from all the directions unless you lock it from here. Yeah, interesting observation. Anyone who is not able to do that, let me know. We can do this again because this is important. And if it was too fast, I can explain this again. Everyone okay? Anyone facing issues? Okay. Okay, cool. So if everyone is good, so till this part, we can go ahead. So, so you can see all these options over here, right? So I'll just explore these options. So for what we have seen, we are able to import data. We can build one chart. We can see which filters to apply, how to interact visuals. Okay. So as you all know, we can get data from multiple sources. Okay. You can get data directly from Excel. So you just click on Excel and it takes Excel. Okay. The next is Data Hub. The Data Hub is Power BI data set and data marts. Okay. So Power BI data sets, right? So whenever you create any report in Power BI desktop and you publish it, okay, it goes to app.powerbi.com, which is a website on which you are publishing it, right? And then once you publish over there, you can share it to your leadership or users who will be consuming this dashboard. So let's say if you publish the dashboard, okay, and the underlying data set that has been used goes as a Power BI data set. Okay, so we'll explain this later again in detail. But whenever someone says Power BI desktop, sorry, Power BI data sets is the underlying data sets of the reports which are already published to Power BI service. Okay, the next is SQL Server. You can connect directly to SQL Server. We'll have a session where we'll connect to SQL Server. Okay, the other is the enter data. Okay, so we can manually copy paste the data from Excel to Power BI, right? So if we go over here and let's say column A, sorry, one, okay, sales, profit, okay, A, B, C, and then, and let's say if I want to copy paste this file, right? I can just say copy, go to enter data, and then paste it. Okay, and that gets imported as a table over here. Okay, so you can manually copy paste data as well. There is a limit to it. I think it's 30,000 rows, but I'll double check that. But it's not advisable to use enter data because this is more of a manual process. Okay, so I would not recommend to use this enter data for now. Okay, but if it's a, yeah, no worries, no worries, yeah, yes, yes, uh-huh. Mm, right, hmm, hmm, yeah, yeah. So your question is absolutely right. So if you say enter data, right, and you say paste, it will show, it will saved in Power BI desktop. Okay, and now we'll just reconfirm this. Okay, transform data, we'll go to transform data, and once we go to transform data, we'll just see. So if you see over here, it is coming directly and it is creating sort of a data set within its own. It is not referencing to any file or the any data source. It is just referencing to the values that we have pasted. So to answer your question, it will be stored directly in Power BI Desktop, and once we publish it, it will be stored in Azure, but it will not reference to any data source. Yeah. Okay, so we can copy paste data. The next is Dataverse, right? Just like Metaverse, Microsoft has Dataverse, and the Dataverse is actually something like, where do I see this? So when you say Dataverse in Power BI, okay, the Dataverse in Power BI is about connecting to these different platforms and creating the ecosystem out of it. So don't worry about this. This is all jargon, but just remember that if you have Power Apps or if you use all Office 365 applications and you have, let's say, Power Apps in use, Power Automate in use, or Azure in use, so this Dataverse actually connects directly to those data sources. So this is just, they are just trying to promote their Azure cloud, nothing else. Okay, so don't worry about this. All you need to remember is that you can go to get data and select the data source that you want to, right? They are just adding some frequent use data sets over here. Okay, and then you can click on this recent sources and you can see all the recent sources of data that we have used. Okay, the next is the transform data tab. So in transform data, if you click on data source, you will see the path of the file that you have used. Okay, just see that and don't worry about it if you're not able to understand, but just see this data source settings and you can see where the data is coming from. So the data source settings will always tell you where the data is coming from, which source of data. And if you want to change the source, you can change it, but we'll explore that option later about when we come to refresh cadences. Okay, the next is refresh. Okay, let's say the data source that you have used has changed, and if you want to if you want to update the latest version, you can manually click on this refresh and the all the visuals and the data will get refreshed as per your latest file that it is referencing to. Okay. Mm-hmm. 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 No, so the way it works is that if your data set is on any data server or any SQL server or any SharePoint or OneDrive, and then you publish it on Power BI service, and then you refresh it over there, then it will get refreshed. But if it's on the local system, means that if it's on your laptop, okay, and on your laptop if it's get refreshed, okay, then you will have to manually refresh it from here and then publish it. Okay, and once you publish it, yes, because the website of Power BI doesn't know that your local data set has refreshed, because they are not talking to each other. But if you import data from OneDrive, like I did, okay, so if I go to data source settings, and you see that I am uploading this file from OneDrive, right? And if I set a connection between OneDrive and app.powerbi service, and then if I check the refresh cadence, I can set the refresh cadence 48 times in a day. Okay, then yeah, it will do automatically. You won't have to touch it. If anytime file changes, the dashboard changes. But we'll explore that in detail, the refresh cadence. But yes, I hope that answers your question. The next one is the new visual. Okay, if you want to create a new visual, you can click on this new visual, okay, and add things. Okay, and you can change the type of visual by using this visualization pane. Okay, so let's say if you want to create a line chart, you can say add those things and create a line chart. We are going to explore all these charts one by one. So far what we have seen is just one. Okay, we'll explore all those charts again. um, the next is text box. So let's say if you want to add a title, if you want to add some text to it, you can use this text box. Okay, and using this text box you can write sales report annual review. Okay, and then you can use this as a title. You can format it and keep it as a title. Okay, and then you can also add some background color to it. Like if you click on this, you go on to this effects, and you can add some background to it. Okay, then you can expand this, make it more, you can use a better color or better font, and then you can say this is the title of my report. So the way you can customize it, right? The more visuals, so let's say the next part is more visuals. So let's say if you want to create charts and there are some more visuals that you want to add which are not part of this, you can use this. So this is called as custom visuals. We'll go through that because it needs another session to it. The new measure and quick measure is something which is using DAX. Okay, so DAX is not covered yet, so we'll not go there. The next is, let's say you created this dashboard, right? And you want to publish it. So you can say publish. Okay, so it will ask me to save the changes. I'll save the changes. So I'll say dashboard 101. Okay, and then now it is saved in my laptop. It will ask me to log in. Right now I cannot because I'm not using any official email addresses, but I can log in, and then once I'm logged into any company's website, I can publish it. Okay. Any questions? Because I feel like I'm throwing a lot of information, but just let me know like if you have any questions, because this is a lot to take. Any part that you haven't understood? Yeah. 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 So technically we can, but it's not advisable because first of all they won't have Power BI desktop installed in their system. So if I send this file to anyone else, they should be able to have Power BI installed in their systems. Because once you save this file, okay, so when you say click and you say save, okay, sorry, I'll say save as, so it's stored as a PBIX file, okay, and in order to open PBIX file, you need to have Power BI desktop. If you want to share this report manually, you can do that using either export using PDF. Okay. But the problem is that when you export into PDF, they won't be able to use the filters, right? It's just a snapshot of the report. So that's how there is a challenge over there. The only way you can share this report in a good way is that you publish the report. And once you publish the report, everyone can see that report, whichever whosoever you give the access to that report. So we'll explore the publishing part as well, because um, once you publish, there are a lot of other things that you can do, like sharing with specific people, applying row level security, or let's say scheduling a refresh. We can set up a refresh saying that we I want to refresh this data set every day at 6 o'clock in the morning. So you can do all those things, right? And the way you can do that is once you publish it, you go to that app.powerbi.com, and then from there you can make all those changes. But we'll go there one step at a time. But for now, you just need to remember that if you create a dashboard and if you want to publish it, you can click on this publish and it gets published to Power BI website, app.powerbi.com. Okay. Just give me a moment, guys. I think I'm, my battery is draining out. But any questions, just let me know. Okay. So, okay. So what we have seen so far, we know how to build a chart. We know how to import data. We know what filters, how filters work. Okay. The next thing is, let's go to this insert tab. Okay. So when you click on this insert, you again see this new visuals and more visuals options, which you can see over here. So, in Power BI, in order to achieve one thing, there are 10 ways to do the same thing. Okay. So in insert, you'll see the same option, new visual and more visuals. If you click on new page, okay, blank page, then it will add a blank page. If you say duplicate page, right, it will duplicate the existing page. So I have two copies of the same page. Okay. The next is Q&A. Okay. Now this is interesting. Okay. So let's try Q&A. Okay. So the Q&A works in a way that you can ask questions to Power BI and it responds back to us using answers, right? So I'll just open a blank page and add a Q&A over here. Okay. So I click go to insert. I click on Q&A. Okay. And it says ask a question about your data. Okay. I want to say what is my sales per region, right? And I say search, and it gives me the output of a chart without me doing anything. Okay. I want to know median of discount. It gives me that. So the way it works is that it takes a keywords of what you are trying to ask and returns the data according to your need. And I can say median of discount by product name. Yes, question? No, it's. Mm-hmm, 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 mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. In Q&A, right? Okay. So this doesn't have Nagpur, sadly, but it has other cities. So let's say for city Los Angeles, okay, you want to see data, right? So sales for Los Angeles, right? And it tells me data specific to LA sales. And then let's say for furniture, okay? So it tells you furniture specific sales for LA. So it does not just takes the column names, but it also takes the values inside those columns names and gives you data specific to that. Does that answer your question, Pawan, or were you asking something else? Okay. Uh-huh. Right. Uh-huh. Okay, so you're saying the Q&A was not visible in your dashboard. Okay. So if there is someone who is developing the report in your company, ask them to add a Q&A tab. Okay. So all he needs to do is go to this new page and say Q&A. Okay. And just tell him to add this additional tab, and that's it. Publish the report again. And then from here, you can type in whatever you want to get the data for Nagpur specific sales. Yeah. Yeah. So it's the functionality that a developer can enable. Okay. Now, going back to Q&A, that what we are looking at. Yeah. Another question. Yeah. So if I ask him most profitable segment, it is not as smart as we think, but it says number of segments in descending order. Okay. So rather we'll just say segments by profit. Okay. Because it is not that smart. but but yeah, like they are trying to incorporate chat gpt into it, so we'll know. This is before chat gpt, by the way. This is based upon natural language processing algorithm, and it just takes the bag of words. In short, it just looks at the attributes that you are passing it, and based on that it tells you the. So it only works by segment and profit. It knows I'm looking for something related to segment and profit, so it just gives me that. Okay. So but yeah, that would be interesting feature to add it in Power BI. Most profitable segment. It's not that as smart as we think. Yeah, another question. Hmm. Okay. uh I'm not sure though. I think I don't think we can set up a output as a bar chart or a pie chart, but you can specify that. uh yeah. So in the end you can say line chart and it shows line chart. Yeah. 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 Yes. Hmm? Yeah. Right. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, let's see. So it takes question font, it takes background, underline, submit, restatement, suggestions, and cards. So no, it doesn't have it. It doesn't have it because what what we are trying to see, sometimes user might ask questions which is not in a bar or chart or any format. It could be just one single number, right? So that's why I don't think they have given it, but that is something worth exploring because they are constantly trying to improvise on this. Okay, so yeah, this is how the Q&A. Yeah, any question? Yeah. Right, 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 right. So once you publish it, okay, you will see something like this. Okay, and let's say you and I both are users, right? Abhishek sees average quantity, whereas Niket wants to see most recent order, right? uh, Whatever I see won't be visible to you because this is more of a specific to me. But once I publish it, I will see something like this. Or if you ask specific questions, I won't be able to see it. It will just show this, and then whatever users ask, it will remain that. Just like the filters, right? So you might be filtering on south, but I might be filtering on east. But whenever we publish it, it just by default remains select all. And even if two users are simultaneously looking at it, the filters would be different for everyone. Just like that, the Q&A would be different. Okay, okay. Yeah, sure. So you cannot do that using Q&A, but you can do that using what if analysis. The parameters that we do in Tableau, just like that, we have what if analysis, which is new parameter, and that parameter can be set across the pages. Um, if that makes sense, like it takes input from users and it filters the data set or the report as per the input from the user. The Q&A. Okay, okay, right. So the way we can stitch it is just using edit interactions. Apart from that, I don't think like it takes input from user and filters the data set in Q&A, because Q&A is something which is just answering users, because it does not have the functionality of capturing that input. If you understand what I mean, like in using DAX, we can capture the selected values of slicers, but there is no DAX or there is no functionality of capturing the user input and then that user input stored somewhere and again getting back. So the only way you can interact Q&A's output with other outputs is using edit interactions. Yeah, 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 yeah. Thanks. But yeah, great questions, guys. I'm loving it. Finally, we are having a lot of questions. Eh, Great. Any other questions, or like we can just spend entire session on Q&A, and I'm happy to do it, or we are good so far. Okay. So the next thing is key influencers. I will not take key influence for now because it works on the logistics regression algorithm and will need at least some introduction to logistic regression. The next is, so we'll keep this as one of the last um, things that we do in key influencers. The next is decomposition tree. Okay, so this decomposition tree is what you see over here in the visuals, and the key influencers over here. Sorry, the decomposition tree over here. So it is also type of a chart. Okay, the type of a chart that you can see. So you click on this decomposition tree. Okay, and then let's say you want to analyze the profit. Okay, and you want to add analyze profit by sales, state, ship mode, subcategory, segment. Okay, so someone comes to me and says, Abhishek, I want to look at my profit, and I want to see how that profit is broken down, okay, by ship modes and by segments, right? So you can add this profit into analyze, and you can say explain by, and add those categorical features into explain by. Okay, and then once you click on this, you can see state. So it tells me data for each state. And then if you want to expand this into ship mode, it expands the ship mode for it. So I know that the most profitable state in this case is California, broken down by ship modes of standard class, second class, first class, and the same day. So I'm able to visualize which state is giving me the good profit along with a good ship mode. Okay. And then I can also broke this down by subcategory, and again I can break this down by segment. Okay, so if you see, what we are looking at is, we are looking at a total profit broken down by states, ship mode, subcategory, and segment. Okay, and then you click on this California, it changes accordingly. And let's say you want to see ship mode first, then you close this, and you can see ship mode as a first thing, and then subcategory, and then segment. Or you don't want to look at subcategory as well, then you can close subcategory and just click on standard class, and then you can also visualize this data by segments. So the way it works is that it breaks down one numerical field, which is profit. It could be sales, it could be quantity, and then it breaks down it by different fields. It could be a ship mode, it could be a segment. So all of you are working in different companies. So if they want to look at sales data of your company by different regions, different states, different countries, different business units, you can create some this kind of visual, uh, which kind of gives a leadership very high level picture of what's happening in the business. So that's how decomposition tree works. So a good story behind that is that when I was working for a company called Eaton, uh, there was a Microsoft most valuable professional working in our company. He was based in Canada, so he had an invite from Microsoft, and 2 years before they were like showcasing this visual. So they have this feedback groups, they engage into, and they call people from Fortune 500 companies, and they take input from them that whether this visual that we would be releasing next quarter is that good enough or not. And that is something that he was part of, and he actually invited me. So I was the part of that meeting where one of the Microsoft employees was showing this visual, and he was taking feedback from different people that we are trying to release this was 2 years back, so we are releasing this, and what is your opinion on it? And most of the people liked it, but one of the feedbacks that they got is that we can just analyze data by one numerical category. So right now, if you want to do it by two categories, like sum of profit and sum of sales, we cannot do that. Um, but yeah, again, like, this was a big hit. Later next month, I guess, they released it, and it was a big hit. If you see, it is one of the most used visuals that is there. But any questions here? Hmm. Yes. So let's say it happened. Instead of profit, you want to say sales. So you can do that. So what happens sometimes is that you want to look at two things at one time, right? Uh, or you want to, let's say, look at profit and the percent of profit at the same time. You want to see total profit as well, but how much percent of profit we made in that specific region. So that's why people wanted to see two things at one time. It does not mean that this does not satisfy the other things, like it's still great visual. I'm just giving you, like I was giving you example where people might want to see two things at one time, like they have bar chart and they have line flowing with them. So they are two variables or two measures through which they are trying to analyze. So that was the feedback that they had given to Microsoft, but it's been 2 years and they haven't added the another uh, different measure to this. So still one visual or one measure at a time. We can, yes. So if we say discount and I'll say average, we can use tooltip. Yeah, of course we can. Yes. Yes, so color you can change. Where is it? Tree category labels. Yeah, so conditional. Okay, no, there is no. This is just profit. Uh, Data bar color, and then instead of gradient. No, this is. So it is conditional formatting, but I think uh, bars lower maximum colors. Yes. So hold on. I'll just, yeah. So in colors, you can set different color. Okay, so you are trying to see that, say that, let's say we have a sales, and along with the sales lines you want to add a uh, the conditional formatting where the profit is, let's say, more than 1,000, and whichever is more than 1,000 should be highlighted as green, and whatever is less, then it should be highlighted as a different color, right? Okay, okay. Yeah, 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 you can use that data bar color using the profit. But if you want to, so now we are using profit over here. So if you are using profit, then you can set up, but using different field, I'm not sure if we can do that. So it just takes that one field that we are using, like the profit over here, and it changes the color coding according to it. Yeah, yeah. Okay. So yeah, I mean, those are the things that we can do. There is another one, smart narrative, but I think I've thrown a lot of information at you guys. Uh, so explore these options, create these charts, add these things, okay, and see how can you use Q&A. Okay, think about Nikit's question, that can we correlate, or can we add a uh, can we give input to Q&A and then the filters change automatically? Is there a way we can do that? Try decomposition tree. Okay, try different colors in it. uh, Use visual level, page level, report level filters. Use slicers. Okay, try to make some changes in it and see what happens. which filter supersede which filter. That would be interesting to see. Okay, add this text box, add some designs, okay, using this text box, and see what how much things that you can do, and we'll explore more. But I don't want to throw too much information at you guys folks, and uh, then it's not productive at all. Yeah, question. Is there a question? Yeah. I don't have Power BI meme program. Maybe I can compensate next time. But yeah, I had one. I don't know if I've saved it or not. But but let me check. I'll give you one. The other one that I actually wanted to talk to you all about is, I'm sure many of you already know this, but explore this website. Okay, Kaggle competition. This is not related to Power BI, by the way. So this is something else. So all of you, even if you are not analyst or data scientist, or all of you are in a different fields, but make sure that you have a Kaggle profile created. Okay, and always at least look at the competitions. Okay, so these are some competitions which are happening in Kaggle. Look at those competition, try to participate, and you can win some cool stuff. It's not easy, but still it is interesting, and it is a good practice that you have a Kaggle profile. So like Google has posed a challenge, isolated sign language recognition. Okay, so they want us to create a neural net for identifying the language signs. Okay, and the price for that is, there was a price of 100,000 or something. So yeah, if you click on this price, so if you win first place, you will make $50,000. It's not easy, but at least look at those competition. And once the competition closes, you can look at the codes which were submitted. Okay. Um, the other thing is that, why I'm telling you all this, because first of all, it's free. And yeah, question. Okay. Uh, the another good thing about Kaggle is that it has a lot of data sets, and you can use these data sets for your own analysis. Like, let's say I want to look at Fed interest rate by Federal Reserve. I can get the data from last 50 years. Okay. So, and just not that, it has project along with it, or the machine learning prediction of Fed interest rate. So create Kaggle profile, participate in this competition. It is good. You can look at some basic machine learning projects as well. So like, this is for knowledge. Okay, this K means it is for knowledge. You can go here. Okay, so there is a Titanic data set. You can look at the data, and it predicts, like, based on the seat allocation, it predicts which passenger dies and who doesn't, based on the data set. So interesting things. Look at it, not for Power BI perspective, but in general, building your data intuition perspective. You should have a Kaggle profile. It is free of cost. And there are some good courses in it, like Python data visualization, advanced SQL. You can do these things as well. It is absolutely free. Some interesting course like this geospatial analysis, AI ethics, intro to deep learning. This is very interesting, and you should all participate in this. Apart from that, there is another Indian website which is data.gov.in. You can go to this website and get some good data sets on different sectors. And this is accurate data sets. So if you want to really see how the government is doing, yeah, question. Okay, there's no question. Okay, so you can look at these data sets, and always look at this interesting analysis. At least you can import this data set, or download this data set and import into Power BI, and you can see something interesting. Okay, so you can always do that. That is something I just wanted to share it with you all. And yeah, I guess that's it for today. Okay. Cool. Uh, Go through those things that we've discussed and let me know if, and we'll have another session tomorrow, and we'll start again from tomorrow. Okay. Okay, guys. Thank you very much. Talk to you tomorrow. Yes. Mhm. Yeah, this is Saturday. Yeah, we generally keep on Saturdays and Sundays only. Don't worry. All of us don't have time like on Monday to Friday, so this is the best time for all of us to regroup and reconnect. Why? Right, right. So actually, we are on some timelines, okay, and we want to finish this course because if we just keep one day in a week, it will go for 6 months. So that's the reason, and we just try to keep it short. We're not like more than 1 hour. And apart from that, if someone misses out, we try to record. So if and we share the recording as well, like someone who misses out. I've started from this session. So if someone misses out, they can go through those recordings, and from there they can take it on. But yeah, like mostly Saturday it is lengthier, Sunday it's shorter. But if we just keep Saturday, then it will be really difficult for us to finish the course in 6 months. So that's the reason. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. Thanks. Thanks. Okay. Okay. Thanks, man. Thanks a lot. Really means a lot. Okay, guys. Thank you very much. Talk to you soon. Okay.